always knew the bad news was coming with Todd, because he'd go, here's the thing. And he said, we're going to lose the orchestra in Dresden, and we have to do all of the conducting first. I do think there's a distinct lack of shame in society at the moment. I think shame is very different to guilt. Guilt is very useless.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' reputation for bullying colleagues in Hollywood didn't begin or end with the Justin Baldoni case, and now Cate Blanchett has just spilled the tea in a revealing new interview. When someone of Blanchett's stature comes forward with a story about Blake and Ryan, you know the truth is far worse than anyone imagined. According to Blanchett, Blake didn't merely attempt to overshadow her legacy. She allegedly outright stole it and showed blatant disrespect when confronted. But true to her composed nature, Blanchett didn't react with anger or theatrics. Instead, she quietly devised a subtle but devastating plan for revenge. Insiders now suggest that Cate could be the one to finally curb Blake and Ryan's history of toxic behavior in Hollywood. Here's everything you need to know about this unfolding drama.
You know, it's sometimes good to be really simple. I mean, Matisse says this fantastic thing. It's just, you know, don't try and be original. Just be simple.
Anyone familiar with Cate Blanchett knows her connection with Chanel is seamless, like peanut butter and jam. For more than a decade, Cate has been the brand's iconic face, a partnership that thrived because she represents far more than a typical celebrity. She embodies class, prestige, and timeless heritage, the very essence of Chanel. Over the years, she's attended private fittings, graced couture shows, and in 2021 signed a multi-season contract to be the face of Chanel's Women in Cinema campaign. As part of that initiative, Chanel commissioned a legacy short film written by Cate's husband, Andrew Upton, a minimalist black-and-white piece starring just two women, communicating entirely through subtle expressions and body language. Everything was signed, approved, and ready for its debut. But when the day finally arrived, there was an unexpected twist. Who showed up instead? Blake Lively. Her presence wasn't just surprising. It threatened to overshadow the carefully curated legacy project, undermining Cate's work and the partnership she had nurtured for years. The moment became more than a missed cue. It became a statement.
All right, Blake Lively is out and about in the UK promoting her One Simple Favor, right? Is that the name? Yep, she's out. She's wearing this Chanel head-to-toe V. Here's the look in the runway.
The situation left fans bewildered. Why was Blake Lively there? What happened to Cate Blanchett? Had the deal with Chanel fallen apart? It turned out there was no dispute between Cate and the brand. Blake's sudden appearance was nothing short of calculated sabotage. Apparently, someone from Chanel contacted Cate's team, claiming the campaign direction had changed, which, in industry terms, meant she was no longer needed. Cate was completely blindsided. There had been no prior warnings, disagreements, or hints of trouble. The picture only became clearer when Blake appeared as the new face of the campaign. To make matters worse, Chanel didn't even overhaul Cate's original concept. They simply added sparkles, slapped on some motivational quotes, and threw in a bold red lipstick. Everything else, the minimalist, elegant vision Cate had helped craft, remained intact. In the blink of an eye, her legacy work was repurposed, leaving her both shocked and undermined.
Look at these, they match my outfit. Look at those nails.
Wow.
Aren't they incredible?
Those are amazing.
I had time for that.
I literally did it while at work. It was a little chaotic.
It was worth it.
Even the backstage crew working on the Chanel campaign were left stunned that Cate Blanchett had been replaced. One stylist allegedly leaked texts revealing it was never meant to be Blake Lively. Cate's team had proposed a cross-platform campaign deal that Chanel could not ignore. But pulling Cate at the last minute was audacious, maybe too audacious, but that was only the opening act. Blake and her team went further, creating a campaign that made Cate appear outdated while portraying Blake as the savior swooping in to rescue Chanel from irrelevance. In March 2023, Chanel hosted an exclusive dinner in Paris for a carefully curated guest list of legacy actresses, directors, creative leads, and brand partners. Cate had RSVP'd months in advance and was scheduled to preview her husband Andrew Upton's short film during the event. But 2 weeks before the dinner, Blake Lively was announced as the brand honoree for the evening. Cate's project was quietly replaced with Blake's new theme, cross-platform storytelling combining beauty, film, and wellness. To many observers, Cate could have walked away, but she didn't. She attended the dinner with grace, holding her head high. The night went smoothly until Blake disrupted it. According to insiders, Blake sat at another table with a senior Chanel creative and was overheard saying, "I just feel like I could bring something fresh to it." That script was beautiful, but a little outdated, right? The creative allegedly laughed and replied, "You mean Andrew's script? I didn't realize it was her husband's until later, but legacy doesn't sell to gens." Cate, seated just a few feet away, overheard the conversation. She didn't confront anyone but was visibly saddened for the rest of the evening. Fast forward to April 2023, when the first rollout for Blake's Chanel Netflix crossover campaign launched. But a problem arose. A British fashion magazine published a feature piece that had been cleared during Cate's tenure. The article referenced Andrew Upton's short film and highlighted Cate's creative involvement. Somehow, it went live on April 16th with all that content intact. Though the piece was taken down after 3 hours, screenshots spread quickly on social media. People began accusing Blake of stealing Cate's legacy and bullying her into silence. Cate never publicly addressed the controversy, but later delivered subtle remarks during an acceptance speech for a low-profile humanitarian award in Berlin. An insider captured her words, though the clip was later removed. Cate said, "There's a difference between honoring a story and owning it like it was always yours. One builds legacy, the other builds ego." Social media backlash against Blake intensified. Her PR team, known for its fierce defensiveness, struggled to manage the growing storm. By this point, the campaign was already unraveling. A scheduled appearance on a YouTube fashion talk show was abruptly canceled, officially due to scheduling conflicts. However, insiders claimed it was to avoid confronting Blake about the Cate Blanchett debacle and the fate of Cate's original campaign. Behind-the-scenes footage surfaced, revealing the host preparing to ask pointed questions that could have made the situation even worse. The cancellation was a narrow escape, but it couldn't stop the larger narrative from forming. Blake was increasingly seen as the antagonist in the unfolding drama. Meanwhile, Cate didn't retreat into bitterness or plot revenge. She simply moved on to her next projects, unaffected by Blake's maneuvers. Her composure and professionalism contrasted sharply with the chaotic spectacle surrounding Blake. While Blake's campaign stumbled and her reputation faced scrutiny, Cate maintained her dignity and focus, quietly reaffirming her long-standing position in the fashion and film worlds. This episode revealed just how calculated and aggressive Blake's team had been, manipulating events to overshadow Cate's contributions. But the backlash demonstrated that legacy, integrity, and authenticity still resonate in the industry. Cate's measured response and continued success underline the stark difference between genuine influence and manufactured prominence. In the end, Blake's tactics may have drawn attention, but it was Cate's poise and strategic calm that ultimately preserved her legacy and reinforced her status as a true industry icon.
Much. And the more I do, in a way, I think the less I know. And I've had a very eclectic and strange career that has taken me many places. But perhaps if there's any connective tissue in my career, it's the desire to know. It's the quest to unlock what it means to be human, that strange nub of fearful, joyful uncertainty that it is to be a human being. To live a creative life, it's fueled with uncertainty and doubt. It's the DNA of how you begin any project. You have to humble yourself and say, I don't know, and I'm here to find out.
In June 2023, Cate Blanchett and her husband Andrew Upton premiered an original two-person play at the Sydney Theatre Company. Written entirely by Andrew and directed by Cate, the play wasn't designed as a flashy comeback after the Chanel incident. There was no PR buildup, no media fanfare. The audience was small, composed mainly of theater enthusiasts and devoted film fans who genuinely appreciated the craft. Interestingly, the play's original title was reportedly meant to be Lines That Weren't Meant to Be Read, but it was later changed to The Credit. Many interpreted this as a subtle jab at Blake Lively, calling out her failure to acknowledge Cate's contributions after allegedly co-opting her creative work. Even in understated settings, Cate found ways to assert her legacy while letting the art speak for itself.
Well, I always approach every role as a woman because I am. I don't really think about that. I do think there's a distinct lack of shame in society at the moment. I think shame is very different to guilt. Guilt is a very useless emotion. I don't know what you do with that. But shame and regret and the lessons one can learn from that are, I think, are very powerful.
Cate Blanchett handled the Blake Lively and Chanel situation with a level of grace that few in Hollywood could match, and many simply wouldn't have. While the public saw Blake's actions as crossing a line, attempting to bully and overshadow Cate, the reality is that Cate was far from the first to experience this behavior. Reports suggest that Blake has a history of allegedly bullying co-stars and crew members, often attempting to steal the spotlight during moments that were meant for others. On top of that, she supposedly made colleagues uncomfortable with her humor, which often landed poorly. When others didn't laugh, she allegedly turned it around, accusing them of being uptight or lacking a sense of humor. A clip that has recently circulated online sheds more light on this dynamic. In the interview, Blake reflects on her time working with Leighton Meester, her co-star on Gossip Girl. Despite playing best friends on screen, their real-life chemistry reportedly couldn't have been more different. In the clip, Blake makes a controversial joke, claiming Leighton was born in prison and even likening other co-stars to monkeys in a cage. This anecdote has fueled discussions about Blake's off-screen behavior and her alleged tendency to dominate or undermine those around her.
There's an article recently saying that Leighton and I were frenemies, and it's
frenemies. Is that the new term, frenemies?
Yeah, we're friends, but we're also enemies, and it's really strange because they always want to pit women against each other. You don't hear about like Penn and Chase hating each other and being jealous and competitive.
2 seconds later.
I think I'm just brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway. Third moment by me.
Remember Savannah.
It was another promise was no pet monkey. Yeah. Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them. Come on, it was a joke. Lord have mercy.
Your wardrobe?
That is important. Very good.
It's very important.
This is wardrobe.
This is wardrobe. This was on the return rack. I think it was hers. So I had to go and like slip them cash to wear it today.
The joke Blake made was undeniably harsh, and her co-star's body language made it clear they weren't amused. Yet, as often happened, they shrugged it off, chalking it up to Blake being Blake and moved on. But according to reports, this wasn't an isolated incident. Blake allegedly targeted Leighton Meester throughout their time on Gossip Girl. In 2017, the show's executive producer, Joshua Safran, revealed in an interview that Blake and Leighton didn't get along on set. He attempted to frame it as a clash of personalities, but once the interview clip resurfaced online, fans began to see a different side of Blake, not the quirky, funny persona many had imagined, but someone more controlling and abrasive. It didn't stop there. Another co-star, Armie Hammer, shared his own experiences, describing Blake as acting like a diva on set. According to him, everything had to be done exactly her way, and any deviation, even minor inconveniences, could trigger a tantrum. In a conversation with Andy Cohen, Armie admitted just how difficult working with Blake had been, citing it as a significant reason why he left the show. While he tried to remain composed, it was evident that his time on Gossip Girl left him frustrated and stressed, shedding light on a darker, more demanding side of Blake Lively behind the cameras.
My question for Armie, on Gossip Girl, who was the biggest diva on set?
Biggest diva on set of Gossip Girl.
You can say it because it's so far away from where you are now. That show's over. I suggest that you do not pass on another question.
By the way. Thank you, Chelsea.
I wish I could take all of my passes back and use them all right now. Yeah. Let me just say that was a tough show to film, and I didn't end up actually filming all of the episodes I was supposed to because it was such a tough film.
Really? Literally, you said, "Get me out of this."
It was also like, "Get him out of here." Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it just literally was that. Whose love interest were you?
I was Blake Lively's love interest.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay, well then.
Sounds like she was the problem.
It sure does, Chelsea.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Don't put words into his mouth.
Yes. Because my foot is already there.
No, it is not.
No, yeah, continue. Sorry, it's your show.
No, please, you continue. I'm interested in what you... No, I like
Sorry.
it.
I need another drink.
Hey, Katie.
Hey, y'all are cracking.
And then there are the persistent rumors about Blake Lively's influence on set dynamics. When she supposedly dislikes a co-star, reports claim she ensures that everyone else follows suit. Take Penn Badgley on Gossip Girl, for example. Allegedly, from day one, Blake warned directors and fellow cast members that Penn was difficult and subtly encouraged them to treat him the same way. It took weeks for Penn to warm up to the group, and when he finally did, many realized he was nothing like Blake had painted him. This pattern helps explain why Justin Baldoni's allegations about Blake trying to edge him out of the director's chair caused such a stir. For insiders, it wasn't shocking at all. According to reports, Blake didn't just seek attention. She allegedly attempted to assert control over his creative work. She would reportedly rewrite scenes without his permission, and when he refused to follow her versions, she allegedly used her personal connections as leverage. Sources claim she invoked her dragons, close relationships with high-profile friends like Taylor Swift, and even referenced her husband, Ryan Reynolds, to intimidate him. Whether one believes these accounts or not, the stories fit a broader narrative. Blake's history of using her influence and star power to dominate on set, shaping situations to her advantage, and sidelining anyone who challenged her.
It starts with us, so I'm hoping to see you back in the double duty role.
I think there are better people for that one.
Justin.
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Justin said he doesn't know if he'd be game to direct the next one, but perhaps Blake would. Is that something that you would entertain?
Oh, absolutely. I think that whoever decides to take charge of the next one would do it justice. But, it's a lot of people to get the same schedules together again, so we'll see.
Oh, absolutely. She's so capable of that. She is a powerhouse. She could do literally.
But the story doesn't end there. Allegedly, Blake Lively tried to go behind Justin Baldoni's back to lobby Colleen Hoover for the chance to direct the next installment of the movie, even before any lawsuits had surfaced. Justin's contract clearly grants him the right to direct and produce every part of the film, but there's a critical clause. If he becomes involved in any scandal deemed morally compromising, such as an essay case, he could be stripped of his role and barred from future projects. So, the idea that Blake was allegedly attempting to position herself as the director of the next movie while Justin still held his rightful position looks extremely suspicious in context. Industry insiders reportedly viewed this move as an aggressive power play, a way to sidestep Justin entirely and claim control over a project that wasn't hers. Meanwhile, Cate Blanchett handled her own conflict with professionalism and refused to let herself be pushed aside, even when faced with Blake's reported interference. She maintained her dignity and stuck to her creative vision, showing the contrast between someone leveraging influence responsibly and someone allegedly using it to dominate. What do you think? Should Cate have done anything differently? And is this the beginning of the end for Blake's career? Share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for the next explosive chapter.